Welcome to Meet the Candidate with your host, Sulani Madsen. Meet the Candidate is your opportunity to see local candidates and hear about the experiences that have shaped their lives. Meet the Candidate is a nonpartisan community project brought to you by your friends at the Ponderosa Republican Women's Club, North by Northwest Digital, We Believe, We Vote, and the McGarry Law Office, the landlord's attorney. Now, here's Sulani.
So, welcome to this session of Meet the Candidate, and my guest is Brandi Peetz, who is running for Spokane Valley City Council, Position 2. Welcome, Brandi.
Thank you for having me.
So I'm so glad you could join us. This is a time to tell your life story, and starting with where did you grow up?
Actually in the Spokane Valley. I've been there for over 26 years now. My dad retired out of the military, and so we came back to Spokane, where we laid some more roots. And I've been there, since I was about 4. I'm about 30 now. So it's been a great experience. I went to all the schools. I went to Chester. I went to Horizon, and I'm a CV Bear. Very proud of it. I also went to SEC, where I was elected vice president of my student government. And from there, I got an academic scholarship, went on to Gonzaga University, and I got my criminal justice and sociology degree. And I've been a lot of places since then. I worked as a 911 operator. I also am currently now an office manager at Stahl Optical. And then in between there, I did some work study jobs and some volunteering as well.
Okay. So as you were growing up in the Valley, did you have a first job experience where you connected work with money?
Yes, I did, and it was not the greatest experience.
Well, but you learned something from every experience.
Oh, yes, absolutely, absolutely. It's a funny story, but anyways, it was at a tanning salon, and it was definitely an experience. It was a lot of fun. I definitely learned that I needed to have my own money so I could go out and do fun things and buy clothes and do the teenage things. So it was definitely an experience.
Well, you said it was a funny story. Is there, when you want to tell or when you don't want to tell?
I don't know if it's appropriate,
okay.
But I had my first experience of a boss that I knew I didn't want to be one day, so.
Well, yeah, you learn from the good examples in your life as well as from the poor examples in your life.
Absolutely.
Not everyone's a good boss, so. So about school, is there some interesting experience in school that you found, particularly set you on your path as you went to SCC and SFCC rather, and later to Gonzaga?
Well, I was never somebody that wanted to go to college. I excelled in sports, so I always thought I would get a scholarship. And
what sport was yours?
Softball and volleyball. Mm-hmm. I played a lot of other sports, but those were the two that I was really good at. And I decided that I wanted to just stay in town and work, and so I worked at Starbucks for about 4 years, and I loved my job as a barista. I actually wanted to open up my own stand, and then I decided, I can't work minimum wage for the rest of my life, and so then entered college, and so I went through that whole process, and through that I just happened to get a random opportunity to join student government, and I did my first campaign and got elected, and went over to Olympia, got to talk to some of our legislators, and that's kind of where it was born.
Okay. So that sounds like that's the answer to your question about what triggered you to get into public service.
Yes, that's part of it. And then while I was going to school, I worked several jobs. And so one of the jobs that I ended up doing, I volunteered first, and then I was hired later on. And I worked for the Greater Spokane Substance Abuse Council. And it was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had. Linda Thompson, who's also a candidate, was my boss. And she is an amazing, genius lady. She's ran for council before, and I got to watch her through 2 different pieces of her campaign. Mm-hmm. She's a very neat lady, and she inspired me to run.
And you're not running against each other.
No,
I'll
we're not.
point that out. So.
No. Yeah, so she inspired me to run.
Okay. Have you had some other travel experiences that have helped shape your worldview?
A little bit, yes. Because I was born in California, because my dad was in the Army, even though both him and my mom were raised in Spokane, I wanted to go back to California just to see what it was like on my own, and so I was there for about a year. It was very different living without mom and dad. I learned a lot that summer, and I came back and realized that Spokane Valley is where I wanted to stay.
Did you see some contrasts between life in California and life back?
Yes, it's a lot more diverse there than it is in Spokane, definitely. But there's also a lot more opportunities there. There's a lot more culture. I moved to Sacramento, and so they had like the old downtown city, and it was just great. And honestly, I wish we had something that was more like that here in the Valley. So it was definitely an interesting experience. I'll give it that. But Spokane Valley is where we're staying.
Okay, so you have. I should have looked this up earlier. Do you have family besides your parents? Or?
I do. My husband, born and raised Spokane Valley. He's currently out of town working. He's a pipe fitter, so he does his work outside. Outside
he follows the projects.
Yes, he does. Which we get to see each other when he has time off, and then we have 2 dogs. And so that's our family now. We're eventually going to start a family. It just isn't in the cards right now. And then I have all of my extended family on both sides in the Spokane Valley as well.
Okay, well, those are nice to have those. Have those roots.
It is.
Are they out helping you campaign?
Oh, absolutely. My family's always been very supportive of me. I'm very fortunate. My parents have always supported me in everything I've ever wanted to do, and they may not have ever agreed with everything I've always done, but they've always been very supportive. And Chad's family, too. They're great.
Cool. Let's see. Find another question on here about some student experience besides the running for office, a class that you particularly enjoyed? Is there one that comes to mind?
I loved all my classes at SCC. I had a great time while I was there. I learned a lot. I met a lot of people. I learned a lot about myself while I was at SCC. It was a great experience, but I particularly absolutely loved my professors at GU when I was there. One in particular taught me to stand up for who I was and my values, and no matter what I believe, to stand out in the crowd, even if I'm standing alone. And so he was a mentor for me, and I absolutely appreciate everything that he did for me while I was in college, and we still talk to this day.
Well, so who you want to say thank you?
His name is Vikas Gumbier. He's a sociology and criminal justice professor at GU, and he's one of the smartest and most amazing professors I ever had.
Oh, so it's always nice to say thank you to teachers.
Yes. Oh, he was great. So
what particularly inspired you to get into the Spokane Valley City Council race?
Well, a couple of things. So I had watched Linda do her campaign and kind of got a little bit into that and educated myself just a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then I got voted on to the Sheriff's Citizens Advisory Board, also known as the CAB. And then I ended up getting some more education about how the Valley politics worked. And so there were a few things that I wanted to get involved in. And so an opportunity arose, and I heard that there was an opening for a position. And so I said, you know what, this is the time. So here I am.
Okay. Well, I think I'll go ahead and let you go to that last question. I can see Kent is giving me the signal there. So this is your opportunity to tell people why vote for Brandi Peetz for Spokane Valley City Council position 2.
Like I've said, I've got a very diverse background. I have a lot of resources. I have a lot of support here in the Spokane Valley. I grew up in this community. I know a lot of people, and I'm very, very tied to our community. I love it. I care about it. I've been here since the beginning. And so for me, I feel like that's a great quality to have, just because I've grown and seen it get to where it has today. Also, because I have that diverse skill set and all of the different jobs that have played a part in my life up until now have kind of rounded the person that I am. And I feel like a lot of those skills would be great on the board or council. And I feel like a lot of the things that I bring to the table, such as the criminal justice background, mm-hmm. and a lot of the ties that I have, is lacking on the council now. So I really just want to be a voice for the people. I want people to feel like they're being heard. I want them to feel like they can be part of the solution. I want people to feel like they're a piece of the politics in our city. I mean, it's important for people to be educated and to know what's going on in their cities, and I want people to be a part of that. And so I just want to represent the people and not a party.
Okay. Thank you very much, Brandi. I'm glad you
Yes.
could come.
Thank you very
Good luck.
much. I very much appreciate it.
Thanks for watching Meet the Candidate. Spokane Talks Online thanks our community-minded partners at Ponderosa Republican Women's Club, North by Northwest Digital, We Believe, We Vote, and the McGarry Law Office, the landlord's attorney, for helping make Meet the Candidate possible.